What is up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little bit of a while, but I'm back. And today we're gonna be going through a YouTube that I've been requested a lot, which is what I eat in a day. And I also kind of want to do a little bit of an explanation of why I eat these things. So first things first, I just finished my WBFF show. I am now in my official off season for 2019. I've done all of the shows that I need to. I just placed fourth in the pro show in the Gold Coast. And to be honest, I'm really wrapped with that. I had a super tough prep. Like I was like sick, I had glandular fever, I had a torn knee, I had some real personal issues going on in my life. I was going through a really tough time. Considered pulling out multiple times, didn't, and came away with fourth. So honestly, like, I'm really happy with that. I definitely know that I could have bought a better physique, but in the condition that I was in, the circumstances that were going on in my life, I just kind of bought the best that I could and still came away with fourth. So I'm pretty happy with that. But what I'm even happier about is the fact that I'm done my shows for this season and for the year. So a little bit of relief, and it feels like a whole weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I think as a competitor, you know, placing is one thing, but also just finishing a prep is another. Like it's super rewarding. And I love competing, I love the journey, but I'm also really freaking excited for a summer without dieting. So this brings me to the topic of today, which is what I eat in a day. And this is my off season. I'm about 2.5 weeks post-show. So this is not structured. I did not reverse diet, and guess what? I am not tracking, and I will not track a thing until January. So the point of today's video is not to show you what I eat and make sure that you guys follow it. It's not to say this is how many calories I'm on, because I don't know how many calories I'm on. It varies. Some days I might hit like the 3,000 mark if I go a little bit overboard with like wine and pasta. And then other days I might only hit 1,600. Honestly, I'm not saying that's ideal either. I'm just saying this is like life. Some days I get carried away and I forget to eat, or some days I eat too much, or, you know, I guess it comes down to as long as you're consistent. As long as I'm continually, you know, checking myself, getting myself back on track, trying to stay on track, making sure I'm still getting enough nutrients, knowing when I'm treating myself. It's really simple rules, guys. And that's what I want to show you today, that I haven't actually planned anything, but just gonna roll with it, see how we go, and then maybe at the end of the day I'll add up how many calories I actually had, because I got no idea at this point. Kitty wants to get involved. She definitely doesn't do intermittent fasting. She probably should. Ow, so rude. Okay, so it's currently 9 a.m. and I'm gonna be having my first meal. Now, the reason I'm having my first meal at 9 a.m. is not just because I woke up. It's because I actually prefer to kind of fast. I don't really find myself too hungry in the mornings. So I kind of want to take advantage of that and prolong my first meal. What that's going to do is help keep my calories a little bit lower throughout the day. I do remember back when I was a PT, and unfortunately, I know a lot of you guys won't have the luxury of, you know, eating when you want to eat. But when I was back PTing, and I would start work at like 5:30 in the morning, I'd have my first meal at like 5 a.m. But what that was doing was it was kickstarting my metabolism. Although that is good, it also is kind of bad when it comes to kind of willpower, because you are kickstarting your metabolism. If you have your first meal very early in the day, you're going to be pretty damn hungry for the rest of the day. So ideally, if you're someone who's wanting to lose weight and you're wanting to lose fat, and you do realize that you're starting your meals really early in the day, I would recommend that you actually try intermittent fasting. Try have your first meal at maybe your first break, or even at lunchtime, for the fat loss people, not if you're trying to gain muscle, just because it's going to help reduce your overall calorie intake, especially if you are someone who is starting extremely early for your work. Now, the second thing with that is if you are training early in the morning, I don't recommend that you wait on your meals. I would get your meal in straight away as well. But then maybe I would consider intermittent fasting from maybe later in the day. So maybe you finish your meals at 6 p.m. Yeah, I really am an advocate for keeping your meals in a short time frame rather than too long. I just think there's too much room for us to go overboard, and yeah, I think we really need that time to actually help digest, and there's so many health benefits to it as well for our bodies. As I said, I'm not weighing anything at the moment. I still want to kind of keep on track, and I don't really want to be free pouring too much because you can really blow out that way. So at the moment, I just using these like oat packets. This is just where that's actually from. But it's actually 5 grains chia seeds, and I really like that for your fiber. And I really like the taste of them as well. So I literally just use one of these every single day. To get my calories down as well, I like to like, you know, save my calories where I can. And where I feel like a wasted calorie is like milk. I just don't think you need milk. Once you take milk out of your diet, it's like you don't really need it back in there. If you enjoy milk, go for it. But to me, I found like that's just like a waste of calories. So I always put oats with water. Now, and that just leaves you like a whole bunch of calories. I'm gonna be using the whey. This is chocolate. I'm obsessed with this flavor at the moment. I go through stages. I'm actually gonna put that in before I cook it. I like it a little bit thicker like that. Like I said, I go through phases. Sometimes I put it in after and just literally mix it around. It smells so good. That's just like that. And then I'm literally gonna put it in. Just for like 1 minute. And then I'm gonna add some peanut butter in there. Taking about a teaspoon, heaped teaspoon. Put that in there. And I'm done. Okay, meal 1 is down in my tummy. I am just going to chill and do some work for like about an hour. Then I'm gonna start getting ready for the gym. I am training legs today. Another thing that you guys should note, because mentally in my little mental calorie counter, that means today's a little bit more food, a little bit more carbs, and I also will put this around my training. So again, I'm not tracking, I'm not really planning, but I do have these little rules that I go by from day to day to help me keep on track when I'm not tracking. Okay, I'm just about to go train legs now. I'm gonna go to Virgin Active in Zetland, so it's gonna take like half an hour to get there. It's like 10 to 11 now, so by the time I get there, it'll be like 11:15. I'm gonna be taking my OxyShred. This is hardcore, so this has got a little bit more caffeine in it than the regular OxyShred. And we also have non-stim, so there's literally an OxyShred for everybody. I pair this with acetyl-carnitine, reason being, I've always stacked these two together. I really want that thermogenic effect. I want to sweat when I train. I really enjoy sweating, but I find it hard to. So to do that, that really helps with the acetyl-carnitine paired with it. Another trick that I'm going to tell you guys, if you guys haven't done this already, with your OxyShred, you have to start putting it with sparkling water. So I'm very lucky here that we've actually got a tap. I don't know if you can see it, but it changes, so that's sparkling because it's white. Oops. And literally sparkling water and OxyShred, game changer. Like, you have no idea. It makes the flavor taste so good. All right, I'm gonna get this down and then we're gonna head off to the gym.
Going down.
This is literally what I look like on my way to the gym. She really needs a clean. Oh my goodness. So I just finished training. I was actually going to get fish and rice, just grilled barramundi and fish, but the place is closed down. So I normally go there straight after training, so here you go guys, I'm about to improvise. What I've got is actually, I always get this. I just get like a little protein ball for like a treat. I've started eating half of it, and it's just kind of like a bit of carbs and honey after I train. This is something I do cut when I'm competing, but as for off season, it's always like a little treat when I finish training. Let's go find some food. So back from training, what I did is I just stopped by at my local cafe. And no, this is not like pad thai or something that it probably looks like. And I got a salad. So, like I said, normally I would get my fish and rice, but that whole place is shut down. So I had to kind of improvise, and this salad is actually a really, really good one. It's got like everything in it. So I've got, well, there's like a lot too. I've got like your greens, grilled chicken. I add halloumi in it for a bit of my fats. It's got pesto dressing, and it's got tomatoes. So you could actually make this at home, and lemon through it, and avocado as well. So we can actually make this at home really easily. I just got it on the way home. You know, I think back in the day when I first started training or first started like dieting, this also has feta in it, right? So back when I first started dieting, I would look at this bowl and be like, okay, well, what's bad here? The feta is bad, the halloumi's bad, the pesto dressing is bad. When the truth is, none of it's bad. It's how much you have of it that's bad. So, you know, when I've got a bowl like this, there's only so much damage you can do. Like, I have feta in it, I have halloumi in it, I opted in to have it, I added avocado, there's sweet potato in it. It really just depends on that portion size and depends on what you have for the rest of the day. So, yeah, it might be a little bit, you know, higher calorie in the sauce-wise, but this is definitely going to be better than a lot of other options I'd have. And to have a little bit of it every now and then is totally fun. And I could actually have this every day, and I do have this every day. I go to this cafe a lot during summer because it's fresh and I don't really feel like anything that heavy at lunchtime. When it does come to, you know, eating, someone just asked me on Instagram, eating heavier meals or snacks throughout the day, I think it really depends on you as a person, but I personally prefer to have a bigger dinner and smaller meals throughout the day. But that's just me. It also doesn't really matter when you have things, it really is your overall calorie intake for the day. So it's like 4 p.m. I have barely done any steps, so I'm gonna head out for a walk now. But before I do that, I feel like it's a really important time for people to eat at 4 p.m. Reason being is it's just a little bit too much time from lunch to dinner. And if you don't get a little snack in now, at least a snack, then we lead to most likely overeating at dinner. And out of the whole day, you probably prefer to eat a little bit earlier on in the day when you're a bit more active rather than later. So what I do today, I've actually just bought these, epitome of laziness, these boiled eggs already. So I'm just gonna have those 2 boiled eggs with spinach. And then I'm also going to have on the lowest calorie fruits, which is pineapple. So you can have like 100 grams of this, 150 grams, and it's not gonna do much damage at all, but it feels really sweet. It's really good for a summer day, and you can literally just eat like stacks of it. And it's really good for you. So I'm just gonna pair those 2 together, then I'm gonna go for a walk, get these 10,000 steps done, and then I'll show you guys dinner and we'll be done. And we got a wine for a Tuesday. Ooh, nice. Wine, we've got sweet potato chips that you're getting your mittens all over. And a chicken salad. And that's it, you guys. That is it. Can you get your mittens out?